Hi there, you're listening to Lee from the Plump DJs, and this is the Liverpool Connection Podcast.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Liverpool Connection Podcast. This is my music and football episode where I bring on a musician to talk about football and music. And today I've got an absolute legend in the drum and bass scene. He's a DJ, producer and label boss of Viper Recordings. He's a Scouser and he's not a blue, which is even better. I've only had 2 blues on, and that was about 2 years ago. And they were sound, but, we know how bitter they are. So, I'd rather talk about Liverpool.
There wasn't much to talk about there, was there?
No, there isn't. Not since '95 anyway. But I've got Brendan Collins, who is better known as Futurebound, on to talk about football and music. Welcome to the pod, mate.
Thanks for having me, mate. Cheers.
Do you want to talk music or football first?
Either suits me, mate. But it's both the centre of my universe, so whatever. Roll with it.
Well, let's go with the footy first.
Okay.
Obviously, Liverpool supporter, and you've seen dark days and plenty of sunshine for us. Let's go back as a kid. Is it rooted in your family, Liverpool supporters?
Oh yeah, I mean, my dad, Danny Collins, he was like massive Liverpool fan. Him and his crew of mates, John Strode and all them, and the Pacinos from Scotland Road. They used to go every European Cup final. They were all there, you know what I mean? And like I'd see the pictures of them, and in the early '80s when I was starting to understand football more, like I was I was still a kid then, obviously, but I was understanding it more and whatever, and then I just see the pictures of them at like European Cup finals and just thinking, yeah, these are having a belter here, do you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, obviously grew up, didn't we? Like I was too late to kind of go to any European Cup finals because obviously Hazel happened and stuff, and we were out to Europe then, weren't we? And we never kind of picked ourselves up for a good few years into the 2000s, did we? Until we got to European finals again. So that came later on. But yeah, I mean, look, when I was a kid, I was like, my dad was like, he was going every game, him and his mates, and so I was going from the age of 4 or 5 upwards, you know what I mean? And kind of like, so it's just DNA for me, you know what I mean? I've had the best days of my life on that cop when I was standing up. Just the best ever, just me and my mates still talk about it now, and we like the memories you've got of that, you know what I mean? Like, just like £2.50 to get in, £3.50 to get in. Do you know what I mean? It's like, and you'd be in there, you'd be in the cop from like 12 o'clock midday. As soon as the gate, you'd be one of the first, just the gates, just because you just wanted to be in there. There was just something about being in that ground, like when you walk out, the first time you ever walked out into Anfield and you see the floodlights and whatever, and that's your first memory and all that, but it stays with you, and you just always wanted to be in the ground, you know what I mean?
Do you remember your first match?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I think it was. Don't quote me, but I think it was a Mönchengladbach we were playing. I think it was anyway. It was either that or West Brom, one of the two. But yeah, one of those two was my first ones, like at the back end of the '70s or something like that. Yeah.
And that's with your dad taking you, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah. And it went from there, yeah. And then obviously he'd take me as much as I could and all that, and I'd be playing football as well as a kid and stuff, and then like my first season ticket, obviously when me and my mates were all going together in the cop, then I mean first season ticket with my mate Mark was 1985, 86, something like that. And then me and him, blagged an adult and child, we worked out that we could sit down a few years later in the Annie Road. They were doing adult and child and all that. So I used to get my dad to sign that for us as if it was him, and I was the kid. And that went on for about 15 years as well. And then one day they cottoned on to us and bombed us off.
Yeah, finally, huh?
Yeah.
There's, there's nothing like my granddad was, used to go and took me for the first time. And I think when you go and you're a proper kid, like under 10, you don't really understand the whole thing. I mean, I was busy just looking around the cop, you know. I wasn't even really watching the footy. And I think it's until you're a teenager and you can actually go by yourself, you know, you
Mm,
really take in the whole atmosphere. And
exactly.
I miss those days. I mean, whenever I go back home and I walk up to Anfield, it's goosebumps.
I know.
You know,
Yeah, it's memories from when you're a kid, isn't it? You know, it stays with you forever. And
well, there's loads of goosebumps, and then there's loads of like trepidation. Is like, is this ticket gonna work?
yeah, the
You know,
new
the
ones, yeah,
NFSC
especially, yeah,
pass. It's mental. You know, you bring up paying, £2.50. I mean, when you're a bit smaller, you could just go under the turnstile as well.
yeah,
And I just
yeah,
miss those days. But I think just waiting, I've had this conversation with a lot of people. I think back then, though, you get in the queue with everyone and you'd listen to everybody's business, you know. But it gets changed. A story at the beginning, if you're halfway, in the queue, would totally be something different and then passed on to somebody else. So by the end
yeah,
of it, the
yeah.
stories change like
It's a
20.
story, yeah. 'Cause I remember queuing up. Obviously, you know when the queues were massive going down. Do you remember the little alleyway going
Yeah.
down to the back where the King Gary is? And obviously the queues would go around there, or and going into the main stand from there as well. And I just remember, yes, exactly what you said, just standing in the queue and listening to me dad and his mates, just the stories they tell about this away match and this and that, and you just take it on board, and it was just amazing to hear. You know, you're like, I want a piece of this. You know, I want to taste this.
Well, you want to keep it going as well, like, I mean, hopefully, I've got four girls, so my smallest one is really into Liverpool. She'll watch the games with me, and she just had a birthday, and it was all Liverpool, everything. That's all she wanted. So hopefully, I'll take her, and she'll be really interested in wanting to go. And it's carrying on that tradition, like your granddad, your dad, and then your kids, and then
Yeah,
just goes on, and hopefully, in my younger days when my granddad tried to tell me the stories, I just couldn't be arsed listening because,
yeah,
you're out playing football, you're out chasing girls or whatever you're doing. It's later on in life you really go, man, I really wish I would have listened to half the stories like your family told you.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And
No, I know. Yeah, I know. But I don't know. I look back like and I feel blessed to kind of like to have been to as many games I have as I did. You know what I mean? And kind of like as you said before, like we've kind of tasted. I mean, if someone like our age and whatever, you know, it's like you've tasted the whole thing, the full spectrum of emotion with Liverpool FC. You've kind of gone from those days on the cop, hearing the stories about the 70s and all that, and they were like a golden era, Shankly's golden era before that and all that, and like, you know, and then the European Cups and stuff like that, and then but we were still winning leagues. I mean, you know, as I said before, the first season when we did the adult child one, it was 87, 88 when we'd moved over from the cop into the Annie Road, and Liverpool were just on a. I mean, I still say to this day that was the best Liverpool side ever. Hang on, sorry. Someone's knocked at my door, so my dog's kicking off. He'll be done now. He won't stop until she's in. So yeah, I mean, you know, you've gone through the whole spectrum of like, you know, the emotions and whatever. And I've gone over to the first in the Alley Road the first year. I've had the season ticket there, and like that's Liverpool's best side. You know what I mean? And I continued like that until like 1991. And like, well, I still say to this day, I went to Hillsborough in '88, and there was a carbon copy of this of that semi final a year later. And we were in the middle of that. I was a kid, me and my mates, we were all in the middle, always in the center of all the action. and we were in the middle of that in that '88 final semi-final, and I remember it being bad that year. Do you know what I mean? And really feeling like a bit uncomfortable than what I had done before in any of the games. Of like on the stands and whatever, and yeah, and like the year later, me mate, we had the same semi-final. And my mate like was like, look, we need to. I didn't like that last year. We're going up. Let's go in the stands. And I was like, nah, what are you talking about? It's not what we do. And he went, nah, it was bad last year. And I still say to this day now, I was like 15, well, 14 the year before, and then the year later, I'm still this skinny kid. If I was in there, there'd be nothing down for me. Do you know what I mean? So I still say to him, I say, you saved our lives that day. Do you know what I mean? Sorry, I got a bit off topic there, and like, but I'm just talking about the emotions. Liverpool just dominating, and like no one getting anywhere near us apart from them, not over in Goodison Park and like twice, and like and then Kenny, I think Hillsborough just ripped the heart out of the club, didn't it? At that was the end of our era. Those lot, the Manx and all that, you can say, oh yeah, Fergie knocked you off your perch. No, Hillsborough knocked us off our perch. It ripped the arse out the club, ripped the arse out of Kenny, and when he left, it's the same sort of feeling as what they're going through now, Man United, is when Fergie left. You know what I mean? Because like they're like the centre of the universe, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? Them sorts of personalities, and yeah, that was when we kind of stopped, wasn't it? Then like, and yeah, and luckily, it's funny actually because we laugh about it because like Liverpool went utter shit, like literally fell off the cliff as soon as Kenny left, and Acid House and Raven, which we'd already started raving a few years before, like me and my mates and one of me and going to the Acid House raves and stuff like that, and then Quadrant Park and Liverpool and stuff in 1990. And we'd already been raving it. I remember we won the league in 1990 and all that, and like it was just such a natural thing to do every year, wasn't it? It's what we do. We win the league and whatever. Okay, yeah. I mean now there's like bells and whistles and parties for like a days now. Do you know what I mean? But like back then it was like it's what we do. Yeah, we'll have a few pints after it and then we'll go our way. Um, and so that night I went to Quadrant Park after we won the league, few pints, and then straight to Quadrant Park and raving our socks off. Do you know what I mean? Till the morning light. Um, but yeah, it was a funny little time when like Liverpool fell off the cliff, and that's when I realised that was going to be my career path then as well. Do you know what I mean? I was like, yeah, I was just taken over by the music, and yeah, and
Well, I think with Souness being manager, I think we all raved a bit harder because it was absolute dire, wasn't it? Watching Liverpool Football Club with Souness, it just didn't click. And I mean, obviously, again, music's a big part of both of our lives, and it does take over. And I think I watched a bit less football during that time as well.
right, yeah. I mean, it was weird one to see. I mean, if you could go back now, and you still would have gone for Souness because he was the most natural replacement. You know what I mean? Because like he knew the club inside out. Okay, he'd gone to Italy and then he'd gone to Scotland and whatever, and he'd been out for a few years, but he knew the club. He knew that he was a winner, and so at the time, he was like, this is the perfect replacement. If you can't have Kenny, we've got Subi. He's going to kick ass in the dressing room. He's going to instill the players that this is what we do, and he's only going to accept the best. But it just didn't work out like that, did it? He just tried to change it way too soon, and the old saying, it was like a great player doesn't make a great manager, and like proved to be the case, didn't it?
Who was your childhood hero, football hero?
Well, obviously he was brought up to love Kenny and all that in my time, whatever, and then it was Kenny, Rushy, Barnes. They were me. Those three were my idols. You know what I mean? Um, And yeah, just the best on the planet, weren't he, for what he did?
Yeah, I'd never seen a player like Barnesy like before. I mean, my childhood hero was Keegan for a year, and then he he went to Hamburg, and I was absolutely destroyed as a 7 year old. And then
Right.
who would have thought King Kenny would come along and change things? But yeah, Barnesy, what he did with the football, and just amazed me. And he was probably my second hero.
Something
Um,
else, wasn't he? I mean, it just goes to show everyone worrying about like these contracts now currently with like Salah and stuff like that. Like, no one wants Salah to go. We love Salah, and I don't think he is going to go. I think it's just a little game of tug of war at the
House,
moment
yeah,
with the deal. But if he did go, don't be worried because with Liverpool FC, no one's bigger than that live bit. No one. I mean, as you just said, it was Keegan, wasn't he, in the 70s? He was like the golden boy. He announces he's getting off, and like, who comes along?
yeah, yeah.
The
I,
king
I,
comes along, and it goes up another level. And then, see him again. Rushy goes to Juventus, and you're like, yeah, where's the goals going to come from here? And it's like, the king pulls out his magic hat and gets Barnsley, Beardsley, and Aldo, and produces the best one of, if not the best Liverpool side that we've ever seen.
yeah, I think that's the thing, especially with the younger generation. They just don't think there's anyone else coming. Who's going to get the goals that Mo scores? It's like, well, you know what? Whoever we bring, if he does leave and we bring in a right winger, maybe they won't get the goals that Mo does, but then somebody else will. I mean,
Of course.
it's a team effort. That's the thing people forget, and I think they get hung up on like you said. I think Mo signs. I think Van Dijk signs. Trent's the only one that I kind of, and fair play to him. He's been with us 20 years. He's won everything. So I mean, I would like to get
So,
some.
okay, I
But
mean, yeah, regarding Trent, sorry to jump in and all that, like, I just don't get him. I'll be honest with you. I know some people like say, oh, he's got every rights if he wants to move on and try something different. For me, if you're a kid from West Derby and you play for Liverpool FC, that's the pinnacle. And
yeah,
not only are you playing for Liverpool FC, you're playing for Liverpool FC who are at the top of the game at the moment. They're on the cards to potentially sweep the board clean in May. Not saying we're going to, but there's it's looking good, isn't it? And like, so I mean, Stevie, and then I think back to Stevie and all that, and he was in some good sides, and then he was in some average sides, wasn't he? And like, I think he was tempted. He had big carrots dangled in front of him, whatever, and he thought about it. And why wouldn't you think about it? But thinking about it and doing it, two different things. And I don't get my head around Trent. I really don't. And you know what? He'll regret it if he goes there. He really
I,
will.
I think so as well. Especially, what was it, 6 months before he wants to be captain of Liverpool, and he has every attribute to be the captain, because we know if Van Dijk signs again, it'll only be 2 years, I think, tops, and then
Yeah,
and can come
which is
in and
which is fair, isn't it? 2 years for him and Mo. You
yeah,
know, I actually think on the Mo Salah deal, I actually think um, the more I've been thinking, well, just keep Salah and Van Dijk. The other fella if he's getting ideas about Madrid, whatever, go ahead, off your pot. But those two are your spine there, right there, because Van Dijk is just incredible. He's still incredible, and he doesn't even break sweat, and he's still doing an amazing job. And the same with Mo. Look at him this year. He's been fantastic and all that. But I do think what the club is doing now, if they're playing a game now, like he's been amazing the first half of the season. He's 33. Is he 33 now, Mo? Something like that.
yeah, 32. I'll be 33 soon.
32, 33, whatever, you're right. And he's asking for actually more money, I think, than the last deal and a longer deal, which kind of doesn't make sense in business terms. You know, let's take our passion away and all the rest of it, and let's talk business. It doesn't make sense if you're FSG. You're like, hang on a minute, you're getting older. You know, and your legs can go at any moment as a footballer. You know what I mean? And not that I think it will, but Mo Salah, by the way, because he looks after himself so well. But I think they're just waiting for the second half of the season to see how he performs. And I hope he doesn't. I really hope he doesn't. But like, if he did kind of not perform like he did in the first half, then they'll have more leverage to go to say, look, well, I'm going, you know, it's the stats, you know. So I think that's what's going on there with Mo.
Oh,
Virgil, I reckon Virgil's done, personally, myself.
I do as well. I mean, I think, I was listening to Robbie Fowler the other day. There's a clip online where he's like, I'm pretty sure two of them have already signed and they're still working on probably Trent.
What, Robbie said that, yeah?
Yeah, and they don't actually want to come out and go, we've got these two signed because they're still working on Trent, you know.
Right.
You,
Yeah.
you got to think too, though. I mean, if they all want more money, then the rest of the squad want more money. I mean, Diaz is on 50K a week, you know.
That's his.
Yeah, that's mental.
Wow, I never knew that. I
But
thought he was
that's
on
his,
more than that,
that's
like.
now he's on 50K, but that's his agent's fault.
Yeah, I mean, but
And
as you just said, if they start up and going beyond what they've been spending on big players, and Diaz, let's not, sugarcoat it. He's a big player, you know what I mean, for us. And if we try and negotiate with him and try and keep him, but he's coming in with like I want 400 a week.
yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? So I think we're doing the right thing with Mo. I think take our heels in. Let's see how he goes over the next couple of months. I think the last two deals he's extended. It went on to like the last couple of months of the season anyway, so it's not new. You know, no one needs to panic. It's
You're
probably not.
talking sense. You're absolutely talking sense. And, it's nice to hear somebody actually talk sense because there's so much shit on social media. Heads are fucking falling off. It's like, look, January 31st comes and you've got all three players staying. Then you've got a few more months. You can sort out contracts with all three of them. And I think that's what's going to happen. You hit the nail on the head. I just think, the last couple of seasons, Mo in January, February has dropped off, and he has.
Yes.
So
I
we'll see.
think I think one or two of them were in because of African nations
Yeah,
cup things going on, and when he's gone off to that, he's not come back the same, has he? And like, so there's no excuses this time. You know, he's here. He's not going off anywhere. No disruptions and all that. So let's just hope he carries on and keeps firing and whatever. And yeah, no one needs to panic. I seen some flag on the cop against Man United, and it was like about giving Mo the dough and all that. And I think, shut up. Who are you to put a flag out there? Like, just get behind the team and shut up. Let the business behind, like, go on behind closed doors and whatever.
well, it's easy to sit behind a keyboard these days and just slag FSG off, slag players off. I I hate all that. I really do. You can criticise a player. They've had a bad game. You go, yeah, he wasn't on it tonight. But the abuse that some of these players get, especially Nunes, being attacked on Insta and Twitter and all that, is just bang out of order. And then you've got FSG who they've done some wrong things for Liverpool. The trademark and then obviously the tickets and stuff. But apart from that, they've done all right. Yeah, they might not spend
Well, yeah,
like
yeah.
City and Man United, but you know what? They've kept us above board, and that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. There's no dirty smells around our club when it comes to the financial side, is there? You know what I mean? Like there is with them lot. But look, even Man United, they've even spent even more. Them lot. How are
Yeah,
they not getting questions? But like, um, my only criticism, I totally agree with you with FSG, and like since they've been involved with us, we have gone back up the hill, haven't we? Because when the other two clowns were on board, and then there was murder with Benitez and all the rest of it. You know, things were just before all that happened. We were on the up, nearly won that league in '89, in 2009, and you know when things were on the up then, and then it quickly just like went sour, didn't it? And you know when they came on board, they steadied the ship, they got us back up the hill again over time and whatever, and obviously that was massively due to the Messiah Jürgen and whatever. But my only problem with FSG is, do you know when 2019 and 2020 we were the best on the planet? No, there was no question about it. We were the best on the planet. No one could touch us, and we could have signed anyone we wanted. Anyone on the planet would have come to Liverpool and just wanted to be part of that. And I don't. My only criticism was that they never showed enough ambition then.
Yeah.
That's what anyone in today's world would do, like the Real Madrids or the Barcelonas, whatever. They'd sign and strengthen when you're in your best possible position, and we never did that. I think we signed, was it Minamino or someone? I can't remember. And we were crying out just for just one or two extra bodies, just to kind of, you know, just as like we used to do in the 80s and whatever, in the 70s and whatever, you know, every year, Paisley or and Shankly and Kenny, they'd go out and buy one or two just to kind of strengthen up the team and kind of one or two positions that needed a bit of players that needed a bit of a kick up the arse and all that. We were getting too safe in the position and whatever. I think we should have always done that. So that was my only criticism of FSG anyway. You know what I mean? But
Well, I mean, I get called sometimes like a FSG lover, and I just have to laugh. I'm like, I don't love FSG. I don't love owners. I love Liverpool Football Club. But I'm not gonna like, you know, every day get online and just start talking shit about the owners. I just think it's a waste of time. I mean, I'm with you. Like we should have strengthened that year. And bringing in one or two players every summer, or you know, if we can in January, just you know, gives a little lift to the team. It just does.
and they've done very well out of us. You've got to say.
Oh yeah, of
I'm not
course.
talking about like you got to be spending. Let's spend out of the ordinary than what we usually do. But I'm just saying they've made a lot of money out of Liverpool FC, and you know, I just see Linda's boob job getting increased every year. Do you know what I mean?
Or a new yacht for Henry.
And I just think, yeah, you just got to strengthen, haven't you? You know, and improve, and that's what you got to do to stay at the best. You know what I mean? It's like there's a couple of seasons there where we fell short because we never had the extra bodies. You know, and when those games pile up like they will start doing over the next 2 months, then you know that's when you start feeling it, then, isn't it? You know, and I
So
think
how?
at Play City, I've 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 done so well consistently for so many years because I know they've just took the absolute piss, but yeah, I just think they've had a squad of, you know, they've had a like for like bench and first team starting 11, haven't they? You know what I mean? They can go off, and we've not quite had that, so that's where we fell short a couple of times, I think.
Yeah, I just think we're all always like one piece of the, you know, puzzle missing. Um, but let's talk about Slot, because I don't think any Liverpool supporter could have imagined, like obviously 9 years of Klopp, you know, the messiah for us, and you know, getting told last January, you know, he's leaving, which was heartbreaking. But you knew
Devastated.
he just looked knackered, you know.
I remember it was this time. It was around about this time last year, and I was off the ale.
Yeah.
I was having my
Oh,
yearly break from any alcohol, and I hit the ale hard that weekend because I was devoed by the whole thing. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, I mean, what a guy! Just I always said, even like before the end of his time with us and whatever, I said for years as we were just on the way up, I was like, this is the new Shankly, this, because all the stories I've heard of my dad and all that for like. about Shankly and all his mates and all that, and just the way he was with the city and the people in the city, and the way he galvanised everyone to kind of just, we're all as one, we're going as one, you know what I mean? And that guy was it was Shankly part two. That's all I can think of. This is Shankly. This is what he must have been like, and because that's what he did to all us, and like the same sort of character, loud, you know, just out of the ordinary, like just didn't give a shit, and like and obviously that's what Shankly was like as well and whatever, and then um to kind of like go from that character to Slot, you've got this kind of transition to Paisley, haven't you? Do you know what I mean? The
Uh,
quiet guy
quiet one, yeah.
doesn't want to take any acclaim for anything, and and just doing the business and keeping everyone on the toes. But I tell you what, I'll be honest with you, I'll hold my hand up and I was very disappointed when we got him, because I'd seen the other fella go to Man United, and I've got like that, I think he was with Ajax, wasn't he? And they were like won the league a few times with him, whatever. And I'm thinking, well, that's that league, but this is the best league in the world now. I was look at this fella; he's way out of his depth. And then I'm thinking, Xavi Alonso, he's got to be our boy. He's got to be the be all and end all for what he was doing last year as a manager. And when we never got him, I was like, shit, what's going to go on here now? We could, if we're not careful here, we could fall off the cliff a bit. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, you can have one. Yeah. Um, and so yeah, I was worried. I was worried for a little bit, but he shut me right up. Tell you that. Now he's just been absolutely from day one incredible.
Yeah, but that big hats off to Jurgen for that as well. Because remember when Fergie left, he just left that club in such a state, while Jurgen has got everything right, and Slot, even though Slot's got a lot to do, brand new players to him that he's got to work with. So tactically, he changed, he tweaked it. But hats off to Jurgen. But yeah, I'm the same as you. When they said Arne start, I was like, ooh,
I didn't
fire,
know nothing about him.
like
I
what?
didn't know nothing about him. You see, and like that wasn't a problem. And someone I know from Holland said to me, "You're going to be surprised by this fella. He's a bit of a tactical genius, and he's knocked PSV and Ajax off their perch. Feyenoord were nowhere near for decades, and he's come along, and he's. I think the first year that he came in was in the COVID year, the lockdown year, and they were going to win the league that year as well, but the Eredivisie league got null and void, didn't it? Completely. So they were top at the time, and
That's right. Yeah,
I
yeah.
think they were odds on to win the league and all that. And then um, yeah, and then he has won it again, obviously with them again the season or two later. But yeah, I mean, just I really hope he does go on to win it this year. I mean, nothing's guaranteed and things can change very quickly in this league. But I just think he's looking like a next level. You can see the tweaks he's made with certain players. You know what I mean?
He's not afraid. Like, I mean, remember the match against Ipswich? He pulled Kwanzaa at half time. He just knew it wasn't working. And it doesn't matter who you are in this team. He will pull you if you're not playing well. And I like that. You know how Klopp just would let the players play, and it was mayhem. This is more controlled. We look better. I mean, I still think we haven't even got out of second gear. There's so much more gears to go up with this team.
But someone told me before the season kicked off, his Feyenoord side I don't know if this is gospel, but his Feyenoord side were the most fit and available squad in all the top leagues in Europe, because of the way he trains them and the way he plays them. And I mean, okay, we have had a few injuries along the way and all that. We're playing more games than they do in that league and whatever. But yeah, I mean, the players just look. There's something different going on with them. There's certain players who you could go, well, he wasn't the best at defending, or he wasn't the best at kind of beating a man or whatever. But this year, the tweaks he's made, they're doing those little things better. You know what I mean? And as you said before, he's just not scared to make a decision. If he sees it not going right, which is the only criticism that you can give of Jurgen. There was a couple of times where, over the last few seasons, where you're like, come on, mate, change this. This is not working, you know what I mean? And it wouldn't happen. And then, but this guy, day one, Kwanzaa wasn't having a great game at all at Ipswich. We were getting caught out. And he just, half time, he pulls him off and whatever. And straight away, you could see it there. And the game changes then. But I think, yeah, I think there is more gears. I think there is more gears. And I think you see the best of Liverpool in the second half. They do a job in the first half, but you see the best of them in the second half, I find.
Yeah, again, that's down to him. I just love his little tweaks, and the substitutions have been spot on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I like his presses. You can tell from the first presser he did to the one now, more of his personality has come out in 6-7 months, and I just love listening to him. Obviously Klopp was Mr. Funny guy, was all friends with the media kind of journos. Slots, no nonsense. He's starting to say some funny things, and I like.
He's going into it now, and he's going into. Yeah. He's feeling a bit more comfortable with the press and all the rest of it. You know what I mean? But still not being like a smart ass or in your face Jurgen type of character. But he's just. You can see he's growing into it, definitely, yeah. But that's the thing, going back to with Jurgen as well, him and Shankly, those sort of characters, they give so much to the city and the people in the city where they are. Their sole focus should be about the football, but it's more than that with them. So there's a bit of energy that's lost at the sides, you know what I mean? Whereas the likes of Van Slot, that sort of manager's a bit more selfish, isn't he? You know what I mean? He's like, I'm here to do this job, and I'm going to do this job. And Paisley was the same. So fingers crossed. I imagine it's like Paisley. If he wins a fifth of what Paisley done, we're going to be happy. We're going to be happy.
Yeah, too late. Yeah, I it's still too early for anything for me to start getting excited. But you've got to enjoy the ride, haven't you? Like, I just don't understand, again, people complaining about this and about that, about transfers. Just watch the game. Just enjoy what we're doing. Top of the league in the Champions League, top of the league in the Prem. Still in fourth round FA Cup, semi-final, second leg to still play. We're in it all. I mean, no team has won the quadruple because it's tough. And that, it'd be amazing if we did. But you know what? If we can win the Premier League and the Champions League, I'm going to be over the fucking moon.
Do you know what? Right, that's my only concern, because City won it. The City won it today.
No, the quadruple. No, they won the treble.
Won the treble. Oh, that was it. Yeah. But no one's won it for that reason, because it's so hard and it will zap your energy playing that many games. And that's my only worry, that's where we fell short the last few years, because we haven't got the squad. And once those games pile up, and once that's coming to April, on the real business end of it all, that's when you can, the slightest mistakes can creep in then, and then you'll fuck it up. And the goal's got to be the league, and secondly the European Cup.
Yeah,
and anything else is a bonus.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, you've got to go for it now with that League Cup, haven't you? Because you're in the semis now, you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
You've got to go out there to try and swap top.
It's another trophy. That's all I care about is the trophies in the cabinet. I do want to get on to music now. All right. So, you said 88, 89 obviously coincides with, Liverpool winning the league and everything. You're into Acid House. Where did it go from? Did you want to start DJing or producing? Did they come hand in hand, or what came first for you?
No, do you know what? It was completely DJing. Totally DJing. I mean, I say I was football mad playing it. Um, and also watching it with Liverpool and whatever. And then, but I'd always been into music. And I'd been into like breakdancing and electro music in the mid 80s. The breakbeats style of music and all the rest of it. And um, I grew up on all that sort of stuff, as well as Pink Floyd and Doors and all, and Depeche Mode and people like that, you know what I mean? But like, when the Acid House thing was happening, I didn't even know what it was, to be honest. I was in school and I bought an album called The Greatest Hits of House, which had like loads of stuff on it, which was like a pure like Acid House, you know what I mean? And tracks like Acid Thunder and all that were on there. And I'd listen to it on over and over, and I'd be like, this is the shit, you know what I mean? This is like, what is this? It just like, I hadn't heard it before, you know what I mean? It was all new to me. And then I watched a program called World in Action. Do you remember that one? And it was about the Acid House scene. And they were playing all these tracks off the vinyl that I bought. And I was like, so this is where I'm going, where these all going? Like it was like the illegal Acid House thing at the time. So straight away I was like, fucking hell, I want to know more about this now. Like, and then it must have been about I'd left school in '89, and I would say that was the worst and best year of my life, because '89 we had Hillsborough, we're all on our knees, devastated, and then just following after that towards as the year progresses, I leave school and then find out all about Acid House and all that, and I'm going to the first raves and all the rest of it, and it was just like a massive game changing moment for me. I was like straight away hooked. You know what I mean? I was completely hooked by it all, like, and like the energy of it, and um, and it just went from there really and stuff. And I'd seen DJs in these raves, and just looking at what they were doing, I was like, they're controlling this whole joint. You know what I mean? The euphoria and everything with every move that they do. And a friend of mine, Cy Frost from Liverpool, he'd had decks and whatever, and I started having a go with that, and I was straight away. I was kind of wasn't good enough, but I was picking it up and kind of understanding it, and that's where it went from there really. And it was just the DJing that I was hooked with, you know what I mean. And then from there, I was still going to the raves non-stop throughout the '90s and whatever. But in the early '90s, it had gone from like obviously from '89 going to Quadrant Park, which is still the best dance floor I've never had the chance to DJ at. Just unbelievable. And the best club on the planet. I still say that to this day. And yeah, it just went from there really, you know what I mean? I'm just like, at this point, I'm not DJing anywhere, but I know I'm gonna do this for the rest of my life. I'm in this now. There is no other way. My dad was getting me, he was like, look, you've got to get education behind and whatever. And I was an arsehole in school. I was just a fucking soft shite. And but he was like, he got me. I realised when I left school, I was like, right, I've got to get something behind me. So he got me. He was trying to get me to do like a construction and whatever, because he was a surveyor and all the rest of it. So trying to get me education behind me, which I did. Went to university and all that. But all along the way, I was like, I'm never going to use this. And I remember going on a building site and whatever, and someone screamed at me because I was probably daydreaming, thinking about the music, and I just thought, fuck, spew this, and I just knew I was never going to be ever anything other than music. Do you know what I mean? But going back to like my progression in it, I was like, it went into from house, which it was all under the one sound back then, and then it kind of branched out into like this hardcore jungle sound, you know what I mean? This jungle techno sound. And because of the breakbeat thing that I was into in the electros in the 80s and all that, I got it, you know what I mean? It made sense to me. And it was kind of splitting off from the house scene, that stuff, and that was the road I followed, you know what I mean? I just loved the energy of it and stuff, and like anything, I mean, I was trying to put on nights in Liverpool and just losing money every time because there was no one up here at the time that was into it, you know? It was just, especially that sound, because it was a very London-based sound, you know what I mean? And bits of it going on in Birmingham as well. But so yeah, I went from there really, and then the next thing I wanted to do, like as that's 92, 93 time, I started. A few friends of mine were kind of dabbling with production and whatever, and I kind of got them to show me what the basics of it are, and kind of getting them to press the buttons for me early on and whatever, um, and then it went to about 94, 95 at that time, and there was a few of us like involved with this, like just like trying to put on nights, trying to get like getting like a crew together, you know what I mean? Of like getting stuff going in the city and stuff, and we formed like the Futurebound thing and whatever, and I was doing nights and we were doing a bit of production, and then we made a track called Sorrow back in 94, 95, which kind of Buckham and I give like a dat to Buckham and Goldie at Goldie's night and whatever, and a pair of them were calling me. Next thing when I was working in Unity Records, and I remember my mate Cy Jackson he was like, keep it cool, someone's on the phone to you. I was like, you all about? And he was like, keep it cool. It's one of your heroes, and it was like it turned out to be Buckham, and then Doc Scott called me and people like that, and I was like, that was when I started feeling like things are moving now. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, and then obviously like any like a striker scoring a goal, you kind of get a taste for it, and you want more. Then do you know what I mean? You get your confidence is up, and you want to stop dabbling your foot in the pond and get full in the deep end. You know what I mean? So that's what how I progressed really, and I was just but I was still raving a lot in the 90s. So I was going missing in action. And you know, it wasn't till like the end of the 90s, and I was trying different nights and whatever, and I tried it around about 1998 time. I started a night which was called X, and I did it at Labato, and it just blew up. I don't know, it was like there was more students coming up from the south, and it was a massive sound down there, so they were all going to my night and stuff, and it just blew up. Like it was very student based, and then you did get like the locals who were into it as well, and it was just an amazing night. And from there, things just really snowballed. Then, do you know what I mean? And I remember my mates going off to Australia and around Asia and all that, and traveling and stuff. And I thought, oh, I'd really like to go there. You know, I'd like to do that. But I thought, if I go there, this is going to go tits up now. So what's it going to be? So if I stay, there's no more dabbling your toe in the pond. It's you fucking proper having it now, like, and that's what I did. And and from there I started Viper. The production went up and up, and then started working with Matrix, who was a mate of mine in the scene and stuff, and he'd been doing some great things on his own as well. So yeah, things went from strength to strength. Really, that was my kind of progression into it.
Well, it's crazy to think like 2005 was your first collaboration with Jamie, Matrix.
Mm, mm.
Istanbul as well, happened. And, we won the
And I
championship.
bought my first house as well that year as well. So
Not
comes
bad,
in
it comes in
two.
threes, yeah. But how was it working? Like, because I know quite a lot of producers, that just like to do it themselves. What was it about Jamie that you were drawn to? Like, I need to collaborate with him.
Um, it actually came about when we were on. We both played in a show in Belgium and went back to the promoter's house, and we were kind of we'd had a bit too much to drink and whatever, and
we were just doing the old produce thing. Oh, let's get on the tune together. And we had a laugh that night as well. We did have a good night and stuff. And next thing, yeah, he it just came about in the end. We just got in the studio, and from there it just seemed to happen very naturally. You know what I mean? I was doing the Universal Truth album, which we did, just came about out of nowhere, really. You know what I mean? And yeah, we were just, every time we got in the studio together, we were just making tracks that were just flowing, and they were pretty big tunes as well. You know what I mean? I remember at the time, like, going to Fabric one night. I was playing in Fabric, and um, I think I counted about, we've made about 6 or 7 tunes up to that point, and hadn't released a load of them. And I remember, like, calling Jamie next day, going, went into both rooms last night, and, like, heard the tunes about 15 times, like everyone playing all the tunes, and, like, it was just mad to hear that many tunes that you had made getting played. You know what I mean? It was like, and then from there, we're like, should we do an album here? Like, it just feels very natural to do an album, which is when you should do an album. You know what I mean? Um, and yeah, went from there. But yeah, I mean, obviously, what was the attraction with Jamie? Obviously, um, great producer, loved exactly what I loved in the music, wanted exactly the same sound out of drum and bass, what was missing in the music at that time. And it was very liquid and very jump up at the time, and we wanted to kind of bridge the gap a bit more, you know what I mean, with what we do. And that's exactly what we did with Universal Truth, and it just blew up. You know, I think, like, Zane Lowe made it his album of the week on Radio 1, and Annie Mac was playing on all the bits all the time. And that was the very early stages of radio getting played on Radio 1, because they were, I think before that, it was like the likes of Ronnie, Size, and Shy, that had some bits, but no one was getting consistent sort of plays and stuff. And Pendulum started getting it, Nick Focus started getting it, and then we were getting it as well. Do you know what I mean? So it just really kicked off, and we were at the kind of start of that consistent radio drum and bass, Radio 1 drum and bass support. You know what I mean? And yeah. And then obviously going into the 2000s and the 2010s. Well, actually, during that time, obviously, Viper's going on and Viper's getting bigger, you know what I mean? And I'd established a sound within the label. Um, and found a lot of new producers, like the Camo Krooked, the Matrix ShockOnes and stuff, people like that. And DC Breaks, and they all started there and with us and kind of grew with us, you know what I mean? And Viper really just came into something around about 2009, 2010, you know what I mean? And that's when I expanded the business and started using more things I'd never done before, like radio pluggers and PR companies and stuff, and you know, expanding things and making more of a meal of the releases that we were doing. And that's when things went from strength to strength. But it was a lot of work, you know. And yeah, but I realised around about then that I was not doing as much production work with Jamie, and I thought, I'm gonna make the balances out here, so I need to get back on it, you know. And then we did exactly that. And I remember we were having this weird time, like, where we weren't having enough shows coming in. Do you know what I mean? And they weren't great paying shows. And obviously, I'd had me kids then, and he was about to have his first kids, and we were like, how can we survive here? You know, we've got more mouths to feed now. And and so yeah, we just thought, well, let's see what happens over the next 6 months and kind of see what we can come up with. And we made a track called All I Know with Luke Bingham. And before you know it, we're in the top 40. And it's that thing again where, you know, you do something and your confidence gets stronger, and you want more of it. Then you want to get back in the room, don't you, and just go again. And that's exactly what we did. And then we made stuff like Control and Magnetic Eyes and stuff, and it was like a whole different time for us with the radio thing. We're on daytime radio now, you know, and on the A list, and we're in the top 40, official top 40 and stuff like that.
totally didn't mean to get to there. You know, we wanted to just make bangers for club and kind of make a success out of that. But it went this way, and when the door opens like that, you've got to go for it. You know, and that's what we did.
Well, how do you balance that? You know, you kind of still want to stay underground, but you have commercial success. How do you find the balance?
Well, this is the thing. Drum and bass is it's like the mafia, and if they feel like you know, if the main heads are feeling like you're going left of centre and going too far from the island, to let you know about it. You know what I mean? And rightly so. And that's why drum and bass has like, remained so strong over the years. You know, it's probably the second, as from house, it's the second longest running genre within the electronic scene, and that's it's for that reasons, because the people within it care, and they give a shit about, you know, what's going on. And the point I'm making is that we never stopped making those sort of dance floor bangers and stuff and DJ tools. Although at the time, all anyone could ever see was us making these records that were getting played on daytime Radio 1 and in the charts. But in reality, every time we released one of them, we'd make a proper DJ edit of it for club, you know what I mean? And just like mangle it up and just make it bang. And we'd also make, you know, original brand new tracks for club as well. But they were getting overlooked by all the others, the shiny stuff, you know what I mean? So if anyone ever did criticise us, at least they can say, well, yeah, well, look at that release date, because that's the same time as that, and we were still doing that. We never stopped doing that, you know what I mean? But as I say, you know, and you've kind of with any sort of success and all that, you've kind of got to go for it, haven't you? You know, you can't, if that door opens, you've got to take the chance, you know.
Yeah, of
And
course. You got to put money in the bank.
yeah, I mean, and even not even from the money point of view, I'm talking about like from the success point of view, where you're like, um, you know, what's driving you here, you know what I mean? And you know, you want to do well in life and stuff like that with your job and stuff, and that's what was driving me. And I know that was driving Jamie as well. We were getting a kick out of it and kind of working with great writers and singers, and various doors were opening that weren't open to us before, you know. But in my head, uh, and Jamie said, we knew that like nothing that lasts forever, does it? So
But
um,
with vocalist, when you bring in a vocalist, do you already have like lyrics for them, or do you let them hear the music and then create their own lyrics? Like how does that, like when you know you and Jamie or yourself lay down a track, do you automatically think, all right, that vocalist will sound boss on this?
yeah, yeah. There's certain instrumentals you think, okay, I need this sort of emotive vocal, and she's wicked for that, or he's brilliant for that, or you want something that's a bit more urban and a bit more, just a bit more, I don't know, a bit more edgy. That's the right
Mhm.
word. And then you'll say, you know, he's going to be spot on for that. Um, doesn't always go to plan, but yeah, you know, that you do have an idea of what you're looking for. Do you know what I mean?
Now, do you let them do the lyrics?
Yes, yeah, most of the time, yeah. You know, it's kind of like we like to kind of make work on the get the fundamentals right in like the instrumental and getting that proper, and then send it to, you know, when you have an idea of what the track is and kind of where it's going, try a certain vocalist out, and then let them have a little go, let them get a kind of some sort of body down of a vocal, and then let them fling it over to you, and then it's back and forth, then, isn't it? And you kind of say, let's try this sort of lyric. Why don't we say these words and change the lyrics here, and why don't you try this different melody here? You know what I mean? So it's just works like that, really, yeah. Or you can go in from scratch with these people, which we don't tend to do all the time. You know what I mean? A lot. So yeah, it's different scenarios, you know.
Are you amazed at how far drum and bass has come? Because I'd say what 15 years ago, drum and bass wasn't on everybody's lips. now it seems to have done the whole 360, and everybody's in love with drum and bass again.
Mate, it's for years it's been one of those genres that you either love it or you hate it. It is the bastard child, and it's like everyone who's in it can't get enough of it. But to some people, they're just like, what is this? You know, the tempo, the structure of the drums, it's just mad. But then I think what the change in all that was going back to those mid 2000s time, where there was more song based stuff coming in with the vocals, big melodies, still heavy hitting, but that changed, and obviously, as soon as radio started supporting it, the public started getting it more. You know what I mean? You hear it on adverts and stuff, and that was the change and whatever. But it's never going to go away. It's never going to go away, and every time it gets popular, um, it, the scene kind of wants to evolve again and pull away from that sound, and something new comes in, and everyone's just like, "Fuck, this is the new. This is it. Never stops moving. Like drum and bass. It just never stops. I mean, I listen to house now, and I love house music, but a lot of them are regurgitating what went on in the Arsenal scene,
Yeah,
the kind of Jack House scene. And now what's going on is that they're doing this like kind of
the piano's coming back.
92 to 94 sound of house. I can hear it, with Chris Dussy and all them. When I hear all them, it's just like brand new production.
Yeah.
Wicked, really good. But I just straight away I hear that sound of that era of house. You know what I mean? And I think that with the house scene, it just stays within that safe realm. Drum and bass gets popular, and then the bastard child comes out again. Do you know what I mean? And it reinvents all the time. The drums change. There's just so many styles of it, and that's why it's so fresh. You know?
Well, it's great to see, like Andy C selling out drum sheds, 15,000 people. And I'm a massive Buckham and Pesce fan, always have been. I,
Good.
I,
Me
I
too.
just love that style of drum and bass, a bit jazzy, bit,
Yeah,
just, it's just beautiful. But then I also like the grimy stuff as well. You know, I've had
yeah.
the Gallagher twins on, and I love their stuff, especially when they do their MCing, or they don't call it MCing. What do they call it? I forgot when you're into like reggae, it's
It's
more.
like kind of Jamaica. It's like dancehall, isn't it? What those guys done? It's with a blend of jungle and stuff. Do you know what I mean? And like,
Yeah.
yeah, but like Flinty. Speaking of Liverpool football club, Flinty's a massive Liverpool fan as well.
Yeah, I've had him on. He's boss, and his brother's a Spurs fan. So I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah. The
I bet that's a fun day on the weekend. But yeah, I
yeah,
mean, I love drum and bass. One of my good mates here, Justin, he's flown the flag for drum and bass since I.
Justin Hawks.
No, his name's Justin Durr.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, he goes by Dirty. I want to shout out for him because he's kept it real for all these years. Not strayed to play something else. He's always been drum and bass, and I appreciate that. And
Mm.
he when I told him you were coming on, he was like, "Oh my God, yes." I mean, it's just amazing to me, the power of chatting with someone, and I'm so happy for you. 20 years of Viper, again. That's your baby, and you still got to be pinching yourself like 20 years.
I'm just like I was this kid from Liverpool.
Yeah,
How's he been around the globe like this many times? Still going around the globe. Still in here, mate, on the beats and kind
yeah.
of, and like, I've got this record label. It's like that's some of the best artists in D&B. And what
Mm.
the fuck is that? What the fuck the hell did that happen? You know what I mean? And like, I'm just blessed, man. I'm like, but one thing I'll always say to anyone is like, hard work will get you there. And I've worked my I've worked my socks off for it, you know what I mean, and still working my socks off.
Well,
So
you don't want the mafia to give you a call. So
yeah, I know, yeah.
the Dons, are you talking like Fabio and Groove Rider and
But
Goldie?
they're the original mafia,
Yeah,
mafia. They're the godfathers, aren't they?
yeah, you don't want them calling you up and going, what are you doing, lad?
But there's many, you know, you've got your Brian Frost, Mickey Finn, Darren, just Kenny Ken. Just, you know, you got to take your ass off. I take my ass off to all those lot, and I just think what they've done for all those lots to kind of go on and do this is like you can never forget them.
Who's who has been one of your biggest influences in drum and bass? I mean, you said like Goldie and Buckham.
Um, it was. I'm gonna stick with those two. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with those two because I remember when Jungle and the jungle techno thing was coming on, and you had people like Wax Doctor
Hmm.
and sorry, mate. Yeah, sorry. I remember when you had people like Wax Doctor and stuff like that, and I loved what they were doing. Um, and that's what really brought me in. Like, he done a track on New Direction that had me hooked. And but yeah, it went through this period like where like the ragga side was going on and whatever, and it was all over the show and whatever. And I was like, where's this going? And then it was Bookham and Goldie for me. There was other people as well, Pesce and a few others like like Foul Play, people like that who were just coming through and just doing this sound, which like this emotive, bringing the emotion to the ruggedness of it all and the cutting edge beats and I was like, this is me. I can see where this is going now. Do you know what I mean? It's making sense. And so yeah, I will say I've got to say Buckham and Goldie because Goldie for Terminator. Just
Oh,
when he made that tune, I remember being in Amazon. I think it was in Wolverhampton, and Buckham played it. I think sure Buckham played it, and it just blew my fucking head off when those time stretch beats kicked in. I was like, what the fuck is this?
mm,
It was like you'd never heard nothing like it.
yeah.
And then obviously Buckham was doing the more melodic side and bringing the ambience to it all and the real emotion with like Demon's theme and then he went to do
Oh,
music, didn't he?
yeah.
And
Impression
it was
sessions.
just all making sense then, do you know what I mean? And there was loads of us who were like, I think there was a moment there where everyone went, okay, this is where we're going. This is where we're going. Like, it's making sense now. We've come through that rough, real rough production sound, and now it's being tuned in. We had Rob Playford and Foul Players saying all Wax Doctors, and everyone, all them guys were just like they were just really coming into the zone then, and that's where the inspiration for me and many others were like, yeah, this is how you got to do it. This is the benchmark now.
Well, do you set goals every year?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, yeah. Um,
What's your goals for this year then?
Goals for this year. I'm gonna go for it again because during with me and Matrix, basically, I'll explain to you. Like in COVID, we kind of all fell off a cliff. Couldn't work together. We couldn't get in a room together, and kind of we just released our album. Worked together for about 14, 15 years, and sometimes we needed that break from each other. The stress of like each other's ideas and trying to blend them into one. And make some ideas on make some tracks on your own, and that's what we did. And then the last few years we've come back together again, and we've got the machine moving again now. And last year was a really good year for us, in the studio and the production. So I want to continue that this year, and I feel like we moved the needle again last year with what we were making. Um, and it felt good again, man. You know what I mean? We get on really well together.
I regard Jamie as a friend. And so that's my priority this year is to go full on the M&F production side again. But obviously, Viper's my passion project, you know. And one thing I love is is elevating new artists and giving a chance to new people to work with a label like ours, where things are run properly, everyone's treated individually, with passion. Do you know what I mean? From my team that we work with, we look at everyone. Well, I don't care if you're an established name and you're coming and doing a track with us, or you're brand new, you're getting treated the same. You know. So we're going to continue the ride with Viper as we always do. The schedule is looking great, and I actually feel this year that we've got. I'm feeling more excited than I have done the last few years with Viper because I feel like I've got this. All the golden little parts of Viper have always been when we've had a group of artists who I'm excited about and kind of running in the same direction, reading from the same hymn sheet, and everyone working well. And I feel like we've got something forming again this year with the new batch of artists we're doing.
Well, I
So
look forward to it. Hopefully, you'll do a US tour.
yeah, we're coming back to the US again soon. I have to renew the visa again soon. Hope, hope Donald Trump doesn't put the prices up anymore because it's been pretty high the last few years. Like,
Well, that's a whole different podcast. Yeah, talking about him. But hey, mate, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on and
thanks for having me, man.
talk about our favourite football team and the label and everything. Please, everybody, go check out Brendan Futurebound, viperrecordings.co.uk, or you can go to viperrecordings.bandcamp.com. Check out all the music there. Look out for hopefully a gig anywhere if you're in the UK or in the US or Europe. I'm sure Brendan will be sorting out his diary. And but I wish all the best. Another 20 years for Viper, mate.
Well, as long as this heart's ticking, mate, hopefully I'll be around to keep it going,
We'll wheel you into the club to DJ.
Yeah. No, yeah, thank you, man. Nice one for having us.
Please, thanks everyone for listening. Please like, subscribe, put your notifications on, and we'll see you next time.